Hello everyone, this is Ankitjain. I welcome you all to my channel Tech Journey with Ankit. In today's quick tech session, we will explore how to create the currency converter using the Lightning Web Component. In this converter, we will make an API call to populate the currency codes and also another call to convert the amount from one currency to another currency. So here we will be asking the user to enter the amount and populating this drop down with all the currency codes. After selecting the from currency and to currency, we'll make another API call as soon as user clicked on the convert button, and here we'll be populating the converted amount as well. So let's go and deep dive into it. So in this quick take for performing the conversion between the currencies, we'll be using the Frankfurter API. This API tracks the foreign exchange references rates published by the European Central Bank. The data on this API will be refreshed around 4 CET every working day. Right? So from this API, we'll be primarily calling the two APIs here. First one is the currencies API. This currency API, it will give you the list of available currencies that we can put it in the from currency and the to currency drop down. Another API that we have to call here is the conversion, with the help of which we can convert the from currency amount into the to currency amount. So in this API, we have to pass the from currency, to currency, as well as the amount, and what it will return as the converted amount. So let's go and develop this component in our org now. For that, we have to go to the org, and first we have to go and create the remote site setting. To do that, you have to navigate to the setup menu, search here for the remote site setting, and type here the remote site name as exchange rate API. Again, you can give any name. It's completely a free text, but you have to make sure that the remote site URL that you are putting up here is the host name. So again, if you go to the documentation here we do have the host name as api.frankfurter.app. Similar thing I have put here. Additionally, I have only added the HTTPS call as we are making the HTTPS call here. I will put this remote site URL in the video description so that you can refer it from there as well. Another one that I am putting up here is the CSP trusted site. This is another configuration that we have to do. For that, type in the quick find CSP trusted site. You will be landed up on this page. Here you can again give any trusted site name. Only you have to make sure that you are giving the correct trusted site URL. You can use the same URL what we have given in the remote site setting, and make sure that all the checkboxes are checked. Once your remote site setting and the CSP trusted sites are ready, now we are good to go to create our Lightning Web Component. So let's go to the VS Code and create our Lightning Web Component now. So here I am and creating my Lightning Web Component. Let me take the option of Control Shift P, create Lightning Web Component, and I am giving the name as Convert Currency. Right now, in this one, we go and first design our UI part, and after that, we'll come back to the JavaScript. So here I am on my HTML file. Here I am putting a lightning card, putting a title as currency converter, putting an icon name as utility currency. You can give any icon, it's completely fine. I'm just giving this icon because it will be more related for this application. Now here we will be creating the different division. First division to take the input. So here I am putting the first division. In this division, we will be taking the input. Another division, or let's put here input amount. Another division to take the from currency and the to currency. So let me go and put another division here where we'll be taking the from currency and to currency. And another division will be to put the submit button, and the last division to put the output. In my LWC bootcamp, I have explained why we go and create the divisions on the HTML pages. In case you are not familiar about the division part, make sure that you are checking the day 2 of the LWC bootcamp. So here, let's go and put the input amount. Again, to take the input here, I am using the out of the box component that Salesforce is offering. That is the lightning input, right? And let me go and put the label here as enter amount. Uh, Let me also put here the JavaScript event as the on change, and I'm giving the name of the event as change handler. I'm also putting a name here because there are multiple inputs and I have to identify which inputs are for what purpose. So let me give the name to this one as an amount, right? Similarly, to get the From currency and to currency in the form of combo box, I am using here the lightning combo box. So again, lightning combo box is one of the standard component that Salesforce do offer, with the help of which we can create the different drop downs. So if you check this syntax for the lightning combo box here, let me zoom this a bit as well. Right here, we have to pass the options, and that options must be in the form of key and the value. Right. So whenever we are getting the symbols from our API, again, we have to make sure that we are correctly formatting it. But before that, let's go and add this lightning combo box as well in our lightning web component. So here I go and put the lightning combo box too. So, and another thing that I have to do here is, in this lightning combo box, I want this, both the combo boxes should come in the same line. For that, I am navigating and using the SLDS grid. So to that, I am using here the SLDS grid, opening the grid here. You can also go for the lightning layout and the lightning layout item. I'm quite comfortable with the grid. That's why I'm going for the grid here. I want to equally divide the section, so I'm going for this grid. I'm copying this code from here and putting it on my lightning web component. Right. So in the first one, I will go and put my first combo box. In the second one, I will go and put my another combo box. So let's me go and quickly design it. So here I am putting the lightning combo box, uh, putting a label as from currency. Again, the on change, I am putting here the change handler only. The same handler that we have put it for here. I am also giving the name to this one as well. Let me give the name here as from currency. Right. And another thing that I have to give here is the options. So let's say I'm giving here the options as currency options. Okay. Similarly, I am copying the exact thing and putting it for the to currency as well. So let me go and put here the to currency. I'm changing the name here to currency. Right. I'm keeping the handler same as the change handler, and the options also the same as the currency options. Now the next thing that we have to go and put here is the button. So let me go and put the button as well. So lightning button, let me put here the label as convert, and as soon as user click on this button, we have to execute the handler. So I am putting here the click handler. I am also putting the variant to this button as the brand as well. Make sense? Now the next thing that I want to do here is, I want to format my HTML file, and for that I am creating one CSS file inside this. So let me go and create the CSS file in the same folder. So here I put the current.currency.css. What I want to do here is, I want this input should come in a center. So for that, let me go and put the CSS class. Let's say format file. Again, you can give any name. I'm just giving the name as the format file. I am putting here the display as flex and align justify content as the center. Okay, so that my input will be in the center. So here I go and put the class as format file. Also, I have to add some padding. So let me go and put here slds var p around small. Right. Similarly, I also want the other inputs to be in the same form. So let me go and put it for everyone. So here I am, and let me put this for this one as well. To make sure that we are closing this right, and also I am putting it for the button too. Right. Now in the last, we have to show the output. That we will do it in a while, or let's go and put the output section as well. So for the output, I am putting here the p. I'm using the p tag, and here I am putting the converted value. To show the output, I am using another out of the box component, that is the lightning formatted number. Again, this is another out of the box component which will help you to display the output. Right here, we do have the three options to display the output in the form of number. We can display it in the decimal form, currency form, as well as on the percent form. Here I am displaying it in the currency form, and I want to display it in the form of currency. So let's get this get loaded. And I want to use this form where whatever the conversion has been done, it should show the name of the currency as well. So for that, I am using this one format. So let me go and copy this format from here and putting it here. Right. So here, whatever the value that we are getting, so here I am putting the value as converted value, right? Currency. I want to show the input in the form of currency. Whatever the two currency value that we do have, I want to use that as a current conversion code here. So let me go and put here this as a two currency, right? Currency code, I want to use it as a name. Another thing that I want to make sure is I want to display this output only and only when uh, I am getting the output from my API. So to do that, I am using here one variable to hide the output, that is template LWC if, and here I am putting the value as show output. Initially this value will be the false, and as soon as we get the value, I will make this as a true. I believe our HTML file is ready. Let's go and declare the variables as well as the handlers that we have used in this HTML file in our JavaScript file. So to do that, let me open the JavaScript file now, and I'm splitting the screen here and between the HTML file and the JavaScript file. So first function that I am using here is the change handler function. So let me go and put here the function as a change handler. Another one that I am using here is the click handler. So let me go and put here the click handler as well. Another thing that I am using here is a variable that is the show output, for which the initial value will be the false. So let me go and put this output as well. Another one that we have to put is the converted value, in which I have to go and put my converted value, and I am assigning this value to the blank for now. Okay. Now the next thing that we have to do here is, again, another one that I have used here is the currency code, that is the two currency. So I am putting the two currency value again as blank, right? Let's go and use the change handler function to get the inputs first. So here I using this function, I have to get the inputs of a number from currency as well as the two currency. So first thing that I'll be doing here is I'll be destructuring the event to get the values. So here I am. Let me destructure the event. Let me put here length name comma value is equal to event dot target. Again, what is restructuring? If you are not familiar, make sure that you are going to the LWC bootcamp day 4, where I'll be covering in detail what is restructuring and what this exact step will do. At the high level, basically event.target will be broken down into two variables. First is the name and second is the value. We have destructured the event into the two variables here. So here I'll be checking if the name is uh, first let's go and check if the name is amount, then I will go and populate the amount into one of the property. So let me go and define the property for the amount here. Let me put here the property as entered amount. Okay. And again, I'm initializing this with the blank. If the name is amount, I'm populating this entered amount is equal to value. Similarly, let me do the same thing for the from currency as well as the to currency as well. So in case the name is from currency, then what I will do here is I will populate the from currency. I have not declared the from currency as a property, so let me do that as well. So I am putting here the from currency as the value, and in the last I am also populating the to currency for the to currency value. Right, now we got all the inputs from here, right? Whatever the inputs that we have defined here. Now another thing that we have to make sure is this currency conversion, right? Sorry, currency options that we have to populate by making the API call, right? Initially I am putting it as a blank array. We will see how we can populate it now. So whenever the component is loading, we have to make the API call and we have to populate this currency option. So we will go for the lifecycle method here called connected callback, where we will go and get the symbols. So for that, I'll be putting here the this dot fetch symbol method, which will make an API call and fetch the symbols. So this is the method which will basically make an API call and fetch all the symbols for us. To get the symbols, we have to make an API call. So let's navigate to the documentation and try to understand that. So here to get the list of symbol, here we do have the API slash currencies, which will return us the list of currencies here. To make this call, we have to use the get method, and we have to use this endpoint as the slash currencies. And in response, we will get the list of symbols, something like this, right? So let's go and do this API call now. To make this API call, we have to use the fetch API, and again, which is nothing but the asynchronous API available in the JavaScript. So to make this asynchronous call, I am putting this method as the asynchronous method here, right? So let's go and make this call now. First, I will be declaring one variable to define the endpoint. So the endpoint that they have put in this documentation is the slash currencies, and for which this is the host, right? So let's go and define that endpoint here. I am putting here the HTTPS API dot frankfurter dot app slash currencies. So this is the endpoint that we have to make a call. Now, to make a call, as I said, we'll be using the fetch API. So I'm putting the code in the try catch block for the error handling. And let me put here, let response is equal to fetch of endpoint, right? Let's go and check whether we are getting the successful response or not. And for that, here I'll be checking if the response is okay or not. In case the response is not okay, then we will put the error message here. So to put the error message, I'm throwing an error. So let me put here throw new error that network response was not okay, right? So to make to in case the response that is returning up from the endpoint is not valid, then I'm throwing that error. Else, in case the response is valid, then what we have to do here is we have to go and convert that response in the form of JSON. So to do that, again, I'm making another API call by putting an await here. I also missed to put the await with the fetch. So because this is again an asynchronous method, whenever we are making a call to the asynchronous method, we have to make sure that we are putting await. Here also I am putting an await and calling the another method, that is the JSON, which will help me to parse the response data in the form of JSON here. So I am calling this method. Now after this method, what we will get here is the list of symbols, something like this. But our combo box here, it always accepts the input in this form, right? So what we have to do here is we have to convert the response in the form that our combo box will understand. So the next step that we have to do here is we have to process the data whatever is coming up from the API. So return from API. So let me do that here. I'm declaring one variable here, let's say options, and I'm initializing this with the blank. Now I am iterating over the object. For that I am using here the for in loop. So let me put here let symbol in data. Whatever the symbols which are available in data, I am iterating over it. And whatever after doing the iteration, I will put the value in this options array. So here I will put in the options array. Here again I am using the spread operator to populate the value. So I'm putting the option comma, and as our combo box need the values in the form of label and value, I'm formatting the value in the form of label, which is nothing but the symbol, and similarly the value, which is again nothing but a symbol, right? Now in this option variable, I do have all the options available in the form of what my combo box is expected. Now let's go and populate this variable into the currency options, in which we go and put the drop down. So let's go and do that as well. This dot currency options is equal to currency options. Whatever the options that we have received from here, I am populating these values into these currency options. Another thing is, as we have used the try block here, we have to make sure that we are also using the catch block here. I am putting the catch block, and in the catch block, I am logging the, in case we are getting any error, I am logging that error here, console.log error. Whatever the error that we are throwing here, that will be logged with the help of this console.log. Okay, now I believe we'll be getting the symbols from here. Now let's go and expose this component to the app page. So For that, I'm navigating to the XML file, clicking is exposed as true, and defining the target here as an app page. Let me quickly go here and deploy this. So my component is deployed here successfully. Let's go and add this component on our app page and check the output now. So here I'll be on my app page, refreshing this component list. So my component is available here, dragging and dropping the component, clicking on save. Let me go back and check the drop down. So you can see we are getting all these drop down options from our API, right? So the first part is completed. Now we are getting the all the drop down option. Now the remaining work is as soon as user go and select these options and click on the convert button, we have to go and convert this value. So let's go back to the VS Code and write down the code for that as well. So here we will be expanding now our function, that is the click handler, where we'll be making the call. Again, to make this API call this time, we have to make an API call to another API, that is the conversion API, right? Again, the conversion API, it will take the endpoint as the host that it have put it here, followed by the amount, followed by the from currency and the to currency. Let's copy this code from here and put it in our VS code. After that, we'll modify this code according to our requirement. First thing, again, rather than I go and directly write down the code here, what I am doing here is I am creating another function and putting the name of this function as conversion. In this dot conversion, and I'm creating another method here and naming the method as the conversion method. So here I am creating another method and putting the name as conversion. Again, I am making this method as an asynchronous because we have to make the asynchronous call to the fetch in this method. So this is the kind of a sample code that we have copied from there, right? Now let's go and write down this code in the form that our LWC do understand. So here first I am putting here the let endpoint is equal to. So here we have to go and create the endpoint. Here I am using the string interpolation operator, which is immediately next to my escape on my keyboard. So this is the string interpolation operator, and inside this I will write down the text. So first thing that I have to move here is the HTTP. So I am putting here the HTTP followed by the host. This is the host. As there are few variables that we have to populate dynamically, so I am like the amount as well as the from currency and the to currency. For that I am using here the interpolation operator, that is nothing but a currency symbol. So this is my URL. Here I have to populate the amount dynamically. For that I am putting the currency symbol and putting the variable for the currency symbol, which is nothing but the this dot. Let me quickly check what is that variable name that we have given, this dot entered amount. So this is the variable that I am putting it here, this dot entered amount. Another one is the from currency. So for the form, again we'll follow the similar process here. We will go and put the from currency as this dot, what is the name that we have given for the from currency, that is the from currency. So I'm populating that variable name here. Similarly for the to, we have given the name here as the to currency, so I'm populating that variable here. So I am putting again in this dollar symbol and followed by that this dot to currency. So our endpoint is ready with the entered input and the from currency and the to currency value. Now the next thing that we have to do here is we have to make the fetch call. We have to do the similar kind of a process. So for the time being, I am copying this method from the fetch symbol and paste it here. We will again modify this method according to our requirement here. So we are making the fetch endpoint. So this job is done. Again, we are getting the JSON response here. That's what we are getting here. After that, we have the output available in the data.rates.usd. USD is nothing but a to currency that we have passed. So here also we do have the response available in this data variable, right? Like here the response is available in the data variable. We do have the data variable defined here. So in our scenario also data response will be available in this data variable. Sorry, let me go and remove this complete section for now and we will rebuild it. So here you can see the data dot rates. So I am again also here also I am putting the data dot rates, and in the rates here they have put the hard coding currency value, but we know that we have to get the to currency value. So I am putting here the value as this dot to currency. So whatever the currency that user have selected in the form of to, I'm populating that value from the two currency here and putting this value into the variable that we have already defined, that is the converted value. So here I will go and put the this dot converted value. We have to also enable this output variable to show the output. So here I go and define this variable to true. This dot show output is equal to right. Again, a quick summary. What I have done here is, so a quick summary, what we have done here is we have defined this endpoint with the help of string interpolation operator, which is dynamically accessing the amount from currency as well as the to currency. After that, we are making the call with the help of this fetch API, passing the endpoint. We are checking whether we are getting the successful response or not. After that, here we are converting this response into the JSON form. And after that, we are iterating over that object and getting the exact value. So let's go and deploy this and we will check the output. So my component is deployed here successfully. Let's go back to the org and validate the output now. So here in my org, I'm refreshing the page. And let's go and put some amount. So here I am putting the amount as 500, selecting the from currency as Europe and selecting the to currency as the, let's say, USD. So, and clicking on convert. So you can see that we are getting the converted value and we are getting the converted value in the US dollars, right? So this is all I do have for this quick tech, folks. In case you do have any questions, please let me know. Thank you. Have a good day.